Hello, 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 and welcome to the first episode of Lion's Den, where we're going to be talking about consciousness, human optimization, and just making our way through this crazy world that we live in. So, yeah.
Yeah, so thanks for tuning in. This is a podcast specifically geared towards just sharing our experiences with no names, no faces, and just kind of allowing you to perceive what we say and however you want to perceive it, and to just have fun. So, sometimes we'll be rambling on about just random topics. Sometimes we'll get deep and talk about, things that impacted us emotionally and mentally and physically. And other times we'll just talk.
Yeah.
So thanks again for tuning in. This is awesome. We're going to do an episode every week, and you'll be able to tap into our minds, and we'll also add guest speakers and people that can pop in and kind of share their 2 cents as well. But the goal for the podcast is to have no names, no faces, no images, just ears, and you just tuning in with an open mind about things that we're talking about. And our goal is just to increase or enhance your expand your consciousness to grow as people and to see life on a different perspective from things that we've experienced.
Yeah, and these are really just like conversations we're already having, so it's not like something that's like we're trying to do super heavy. It's just like we're already having these conversations. Why not record them? We have like a lot of conscious friends and people that are into just seeing what is possible in this life, I guess, because there's like a new wave of thought really going around that the internet's kind of spurred. So yeah, we're just kind of running with this, see where it goes, and there's not really too many expectations. We're just trying to have fun, have some good conversations. We're already talking about this shit, and this is a way for us to have like conversations like this at least once a week from now on, and yeah, just see where it takes us.
Yeah, and also too, we're going to create like a Facebook page, potentially like an Instagram or what have you, so you guys can even reach out to us and like ask us about topics that you'd like to talk about and tune in. So it's not necessarily just going to be like everything that we want to share that we've experienced or that we know, but just a way where if you want something to be discussed or you want more information on something and you see our opinion valuable enough, we want you to be a part of it by asking in our chat room or what have you, and then we can also talk about whatever it is that you're trying to figure out as well. So again, the goal is just to expand consciousness in any way possible that we can. So if we can do that for you, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that's the goal. I think that's what's gonna help the world out too, is just like expanding consciousness and helping everyone just see shit in a new light. Like I know for you and me, like that's been like a huge thing, is just like being able to see these different people talking about different subjects on the internet and just through like real life too. And
yeah,
just kind of like transforming the way we think about the world and the way we perceive it, and it's definitely affecting our results. And
yeah, I can definitely admit that like I've learned more on YouTube than I did in my high school and college education. So by us putting this on YouTube, I guess it's just our way of like giving back and saying like, like there's a lot of really good information out there if you know how to find it, and your life will be so different and so much more valuable and amazing when you tap into this kind of information. So
yeah, and just start climbing down the rabbit hole. When did the rabbit hole start for you? I guess that's kind of a good place to start. Like, when did you start like getting into consciousness? And like, because I can remember, like, I'll talk about the specific day, but you can go first. Like, how did you like get into like starting to think about this shit?
So I was attending a school, it was a huge party school, and I wasn't doing shit, to be honest. And I met these group of network marketers, and if you guys know anything about the network marketing industry, it's a great opportunity to like connect and like meet like-minded individuals and like grow and learn things from each other. But the content and the books and the material that they give you or that they recommend to you is like top-notch stuff. So when I first started, I got involved with this multi-level marketing company because I hated college. I wasn't learning much, and I thought that multi-level marketing was going to be my way to start building business and money and things like that.
Get out of the rat race.
Yeah. And then I met this group of people that were just like hungry about the law of attraction, and they started sharing me a bunch of information about Bob Proctor, Think and Grow Rich, Andrew Carnegie, Napoleon Hill, like all these big time influencers. And that for me was like when I first started experiencing what it was like to have a positive optimistic mindset, and then learned a lot more about your mind's capabilities and things like that. So this was like, you know, my junior year of college, and just started hanging around these kids that were super obsessed with it. So, you know, like 5 or 6 years back.
Yeah.
And
It's just been a ride ever since.
yeah, like once you start, the thing is, guys, is like once you start learning this shit and you apply it, not just learn it, but like when you apply it and then you get results for yourself, you'll get like crazy addicted to learning more about how you can create better circumstances for yourself and others. So, like Tyler said, you know, like
And attract into your life. Dude.
Yeah. so
We're nameless.
no, you can cut that
Yeah,
out.
it's all good. It's all
So, like you said, jumping down that rabbit hole of information and getting like, you know, super caught up in how cool it can be and how powerful our minds really are. So for me, this was like a few years ago. And now I'm just starting to learn how to apply it more in a selfless, like humble way rather than like an egotistic, like what can I do for myself way, which has been a lot different. But when did you get started with all this kind of stuff? Like when did it start for you?
That is, and that's what I want to kind of talk about too. But I kind of started in the same way. Like I was going to Michigan State, partying, having fun. Like I actually like chose to go to Michigan State because it was the biggest party school in Michigan. Like that's why I decided. Like that was my only factor in choosing college. So that kind of like lets you know where my 18-year-old mind frame was. And I just remember then I went to a network marketing meeting for this company, and it was a bunch of young kids. Some of them were making money, like talking about how they were about to start driving Benzes and Beamers. And as a young kid, like I always just thought I was gonna get like some corporate job like my dad did, and like go down that lane and whatever, live a good life, make $100,000 a year. But yeah, so I went there, started getting into self-improvement, started making some money as well, which was awesome, and then just started traveling around. But I remember like when I really like started getting into the conscious world was like I tripped on acid actually with two of my friends who had never done it as well, and we floated down this river. And I just remember like looking at my friends. I was like making quite a bit of money at the time, and like I kind of thought I was the shit, like I had an ego going about me. And I just remember looking at my friend who wasn't making like any money doing the network marketing company, and I just looked at him, and he like knew who he was and like where he was at and like knew himself. And I was like looking around, seeing like what everyone else was doing, and like, you know what I mean, seeing what I should be doing while I was tripping on acid, kind of in a sense, you know what I mean? Like, and I just realized that day, like I didn't really understand myself, like in a sense. And just by watching somebody else be themselves so authentically, like it really just helped me kind of get a better idea of, you mean, where I needed to move. And like 2 weeks after that, I ended up moving down to New Orleans, like on a whim, like with my friend Jimmy, actually, who was the guy, and Frank was actually the other dude who was I tripped with that day, so which is crazy. But yeah, so it just kind of just took me down this rabbit hole, and I got into like a conspiracy binge for a while. And then, you mean, as you grow, like I'm still noticing this all the time, like my mind state is just like constantly evolving, and like old ways of thinking kind of seem naive to me. But like if you're looking back and like you're thinking like your old self was not thinking on the level they were capable of, that means like you're moving in the right direction, you know. And that's kind of been a constant theme of my life, is like I'm sure at some point I'm gonna look back at listen to this fucking podcast and see some of the things I thought and be like, damn, like you still had so much farther to go and so much more to give and shit. So
yeah. So for people that don't know, like, you know, you said that you took acid and that changed how you know, perceived or, you know, opened up your mind a little bit. Like, for those of you who don't know what that is, like, how can you explain that to them and say, like, how did it do that for you? Like, how did some drug, you know, do that for you?
Yeah. So yeah, acid's like a psychoactive drug. So it kind of just put me in a different mind frame, and I was floating down this river in an inner tube in Michigan, and it just kind of made me see the whole world different, kind of just like showed me like there's a different lens to see life through than I was experiencing. And like I was really rigid in a mind frame and like kind of on a straight and narrow path. And it's like, imagine if you're just like looking in this tunnel vision, and then all of a sudden you're like, boom, your eyes open up like this, and you have like foresight and can see like peripherals and shit. You're like, yo, there's a lot more to all this shit than I was even currently experiencing. And I think like from everyone I've talked to about psychedelic drugs, like that's what it helps like a lot of people do, is just shows you a different way of thinking. And like even if you only do it once or twice, like it's going to open your mind up like that for the rest of your life, and that's like going to be a huge experience for you and just your pattern of thinking for the future.
Yeah, and then to add on to that, guys, like at least my logic on psychedelics is a little bit different than like what the mainstream user feels about them. So like when we talk about like if in future for future reference or whatever, if we talk about like psychedelics and mushrooms and acid, it's not because we're like party kids and we do it to like have fun. We do it because we think that some of these things are so medicinal and so powerful that they can really change you, and we want to make sure that like when we're talking about them that you understand that we're using these for medicinal, like soul searching, mind opening and enlightening experiences to learn more about ourselves, so that way we can positively affect other people.
Yeah.
So when he says like, I was taking acid, down a river, he did that because he wanted to figure out something that he was unaware of, and he wanted to discover the unknown, which proved him to be right, because now he has a whole new perspective. And then notice what he did after he took that acid was he went out on a limb and moved out to New Orleans, and that was like one of the best decisions he's ever made. So
it set me on my creative path again, you know what I mean? And I was like rigid, like business. I was grinding a lot, like working really hard, and it like kind of like opened me up to like a whole nother side of me, which is probably my fucking favorite side of me, honestly. Like just getting out there and creating. So yeah, like he said, if you're taking them for like the chance to learn something more about yourself or the universe, or like get something, like you're gonna get that. Like some people just take it to trip out and like see trippy shit, like,
and that's part of it too. That's also the cool part. Like you're going to see things that are moving, you're going to see things that aren't normal. That's the beautiful aspect of it, but you have to understand that like that's the 1%. Everything else that you're going to learn is going to be like when you close your eyes and you envision certain things, or when you close your eyes and you just let go for a moment and you let the tool do what it's supposed to do. You'll start to have new ways of thinking, new ideas, new concepts, etc. When you focus on your breathing and you're in a good environment around people that understand that as well, like some of these moments are going to change you forever, and you'll never look back if you have those kind of intentions. But if you take the drug and you just go to a dubstep festival and you're headbanging all day, like for sure it's going to be fun, but in my opinion you're cheating yourself, because that's, in my opinion, not the way to do it. Like for me,
and it's to teach their own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone can do their own shit, but it's like you're gonna get what you want out of it.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing about the drug.
I guess I just want to make it sound like it's not a recreational thing. It's a medicinal thing and a powerful thing, and I don't want you to underestimate its power when you take it.
Yeah,
I guess it's a better way to put it.
100%.
Yeah.
Damn, we really dove going straight into psychedelics. First 10 minutes, we're hopping into psychedelics.
Yeah. If this is the first episode, folks, you're going to want to stay tuned.
Yeah, exactly. We got more shit like this coming.
And this is the thing. This is what happens every single time we get together. Or like our friend group gets together. Like we just start talking, we say something to break the ice, and then just, unloads or what unleashes inside of us is all these things that we're extremely passionate about that we want to share with people. So like this is actually really dope for us. Like it's a lot of fun. It's cool.
Exactly. This is us talking. This is us having our normal conversations with the mic in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, outside of psychedelic drugs, other topics we're gonna be hitting on is just like optimizing yourself. Like, we're only doing those like some of the time. Like most of the time we're like on a pretty strict, like rigorous working on our crafts like every single day. Like I know you have some pretty strong opinions on like work ethic and shit like that.
Yeah, so in regards of this being the first podcast, I don't want to like get into different topics and stuff. I kind of want to just give you guys an idea of what to expect in future future sessions. But so some things that you should expect on the podcast are like raising awareness for social issues that we want to talk about, expanding your consciousness, things that we've learned that have expanded ours, healthy lifestyle habits, whether that would be like mind or physically or mentally, and then just some daily routine things that we've done to like help implement and enhance our lives to become better people, and just some random tips and nuggets that we can share with you guys.
And
just to help.
and hopefully like some things we've learned along the way on our path. And not saying we have it all figured out, because we're still young and we're learning every single day. But you know what I mean? Just give some wisdom and some insight on kind of what's helped us out the most in our lives, and like would have been some of those like turn in the road moments that have really pushed us in the right direction, at least to get us where we're at right now.
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll have a YouTube page. We'll have a live chat page on Facebook where you guys can also like give your feedback and give your 2 cents in on things that have helped you. And then we'll have a lot of fun with like bouncing ideas back and forth. So thanks for hopping on for our first one. This was awesome, and we had a lot of fun, and we're just getting started. So.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in to Lions Den. We'll see you next week.
Peace.